if at all, does it serve Sisi's opponents, and particularly the Muslim Brotherhood?
I think the issue is one of the degree of support that has been given to General Sisi since the coup by the United States and others. And as we've heard, I think, from all the participants today, this is something of, it's symbolic. It has some importance, but ultimately it's not going to change anything, whether in terms of the opposition to Sisi or the reaction of Sisi to his opponents. Let me put it this way. There is an ongoing struggle, political struggle, with the military regime. Its opponents and those that are suffering in Egypt today, and that is the majority of Egyptian citizens, are not looking only to a cut in aid to Egypt. They're looking to the end of the military regime in Egypt that is supported ultimately by the United States and its allies. These are symbolic gestures that have come, you can say it's too little, too late, and whatever the reasoning behind it in the United States, the repression that is happening in Egypt is tantamount to the reality of an authoritarian state. We have over 60,000 political prisoners in Egypt. There is no freedom of assembly or freedom of speech in that country. Political opponents are tortured in prison and do not have the right to due process. The issue is not just about an NGO law. It is about the fact that Egyptians are denied the right to freedom and rights. And therefore, I think whether it's the opposition or the ordinary man or woman on the street will react to this with very little. The reaction will be minimal. They'll see this as politics being played out at one level that really doesn't affect their lives. The United States needs to do much more than what it's done today. It's a symbolic gesture, an important one, but not enough.
Okay, so off that up, what actual impact will this have financially on Egypt?
Well, I don't see any impact, significant impact on Egypt financially. What happened was there was almost $100 million of assistance from past years that has actually been canceled, will not go to Egypt. About 68 million of that was military assistance and 30 million was economic assistance. And what's significant here is this is the first time, I believe, that military assistance in particular has been canceled explicitly due to a human rights concern. So there's about $100 million from previous year's assistance that was sitting in the pipeline that has been taken away from Egypt, will be given to other countries. The other thing that was done is that there is current assistance, $195 million of military assistance from fiscal year 2017, fiscal year 2016 rather, that was suspended temporarily due to human rights conditions written into the legislation for this assistance. And what Secretary Tillerson did was he used the national security waiver to waive, so to speak, the human rights conditions in order to prevent that assistance from just also being canceled, this additional $195 million. So it has not been canceled, but it has been placed on a shelf, so to speak. What the State Department is saying is that that assistance is not being canceled. However, it's being set aside, and Egypt will not be allowed to spend any of that additional assistance until it meets some conditions, which appear to be related to human rights. But I think there are several issues. I think there are human rights conditions, and I think there are other things relating to the Sinai and to North Korea.